On Sky Sports 2, and this is a high definition production as well on HD2, that's channel 409, and we are watching a high quality match between the Wigan Warriors and the Leeds Rhinos. That Leeds are edging at the moment by 24 points to 10. There's a long way to run though in this game, 40 pulsating minutes on the way, and Wigan, they are a team that is capable of clawing 14 points back in the blink of an eye.
Well, they certainly need to do it very, very quickly indeed, and maybe they've got to take a leaf out of the Rhinos' book in that first half, because Leeds was so dominant in and around the play the ball area. The way that Matt Diskin was controlling things out there, they really punished Wigan down that middle. And I just got the impression that perhaps Wigan were trying to get the ball out wide a little bit too early. They've got to make sure their forwards do a little bit more hard work, get them in a good position. Oh, that's a bad error.
It's an awful error for Wigan. It's fantastic for Leeds. The ball bounced in the field of play and then found the touchline. There was nothing that Lee Mossop could do, so Leeds will have head and feet at the scrum here and immediately begin the second half on the front foot.
Well, it's like a 40-20, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to get yourself positioned a little bit more than that. They weren't alert. Their minds are still in the dressing room.
Awful error, fantastic kick. You know, what was that? You know, 12 inches from a touchline. You know, the ball kicked from the centre spot. I mean, it was worth Leeds getting position just for the nerve of putting a ball that close to the touchline.
Well, they've got it, and this is Maguire, and here is Brent Webb, and Brent Webb has jinked through them, and Brent Webb will score right at the start of this second half for the champions. It's his second try of the match, and from the kick-off, the Rhinos take a stranglehold on this game. Well, it was a big error out on the far side by the Wigan defenders. Barrett scuttled across, he couldn't get to it. Lee Mossop couldn't get to the kickoff. A wonderful kickoff from Kevin Sinfield, gave them the position, gave them the possession from the scrum, and Brent Webb, well, he just danced his way through the line, and he touched down underneath the sticks. The perfect start to the second half.
This is a real coach killer. You've got to make sure that somebody tries to sort it out, and they made a real meal of this indeed. And from the scrum base, it was so simple. So simple, take nothing away from the quality of this New Zealander Brent Webb. It was good sidestepping running.
5 from 5 for Sinfield. 30 points to 10 to the Leeds Rhinos, right at the start of this second half. Not the start that Brian Noble and Wigan wanted, but what a kick-off from Sinfield.
Well, this is like schoolboy rugby. Give the ball to your best player and see what he can do from a scrum. He's made that look easy against a side that have defended well until that point. Beat 3 men and made that look so easy. That is world-class play.
Brent Webb, the Leeds full-back.
Okay.
A try in the cup tie against Wigan at Headingley in May, and 2 tries here tonight. You know, Leeds have won successive home games against the Bradford Bulls and the Castleford Tigers, but coming into this match they have lost 3 of the last 4 away from Headingley. And a bit scratchy on the road until tonight. And Brian McLennan, when I spoke to him today, Steve-O, he was, well, as I say, he wasn't worried about St Helens and finishing top of the table. He said, we want to beat Wigan, because they've not done that in the Super League this year. That was all, full stop, phone down. Call over.
You take your chances, get on with it. He knows he needed a big effort tonight, and he's done that. His tactics have been absolutely superb. Just work hard, down the middle, tire the opposition.
You're right, Mike. They've been absolutely spot on. The irony, again, I mentioned before, sometimes if you overwork in a game, it's almost as worse as underworking. Stuart Fielden, who's done the first full 40, hasn't had a break. He broke from the scrum as a prop forward, and he was the last man that Brent Webb beat when he stepped and stepped and stepped back on the inside. Stuart Fielden was working as hard as he possibly could. He just didn't have that last arm grab to put Brent Webb down.
It's Wigan in possession. That's 4 tackles gone. They're still deep inside their own half. There's the last on Stuart Fielden. And there has to be a good kick here now from Barrett to get them out of this pickle they're in.
Well, it shows you the difference between the two sides. Very few occasions did Leeds find themselves in their own quarter when it came to the last play of the ball. That's been the difference. You know, Leeds played the ball 80 times in the first half, and Wigan only 60. And with that sort of possession, you're always going to win the game.
I'll tell you what, Mike, sorry, Eddie, about the 80 that Leeds have played the ball, I bet 60, 65, 70 of them have been right up the middle channels. So the Wigan defenders, that middle unit of props and hookers, maybe loose forward, they're doing all the graft and all the work. And you can only do that for so long.
And they don't look as though they've taken their foot off the gas. Leeds, here they come again with Webb. He finds Gareth Ellis. Ellis singled out by Tony Ray in Boots and All on Wednesday for special praise, the way he's been playing.
He's had a big game tonight as well.
Up goes the kick again from Sinfield. It's deep. Oh, Senior, he was just almost gifted that. It was a good job that Barrett came to the rescue, because Calderwood was ball watching then.
Well, again, it's another occasion where Wigan are allowing the ball to bounce, as they did from the kickoff. They really have got to dig deep now, and the tails are up in this Rhinos defence. They are working very hard indeed.
Game's almost over at the KC Stadium. Hull have won it, but Harlequins are at least giving themselves something to talk about on the journey home. This now is Tompkins.
They're going to have to dig deep, and of course we saw some flashes of brilliance in the opening quarter from Thomas Lulawai and Trent Barrett. But it's the forwards that Wigan need to give them the platform. They've still got the quality, but can they break this defence?
Neat kick from Trent Barrett down the line. That will skip towards the touchline and eventually cross it just the right side of the corner flag. They'll miss him next year, Trent Barrett. He hasn't been the force he was in 2007, has he? Hasn't been the dominant figure in Super League, but they will certainly miss his guile when he goes back to Cronulla on a 3-year deal from 2009 onwards. I wonder what Bill's got for us.
Eddie, we were talking earlier on, or speculating earlier on, about this signing. Leeds are going to be announcing next week. Frank Pritchard, the name first off the rank anyway. I think there's probably going to be one or two more mentioned in the next few days. But it's worth recording that there have been other signings made by Leeds, that Luke Burgess has signed a new 3-year deal with the club, and Carl Ablett has also committed himself to another year with the Rhinos as well. So they're working already.
Yes, they are. Frank Pritchard is a New Zealand international, but he won't be known to too many over here.
Stand up, Nick, don't thrash. Wait, Thomas, go.
And he will be, presumably, if it is him, he will be the man to replace Gareth Ellis.
Well, I hope it's him. I think you've mentioned him about 8 times so far.
Hang on, my name's not Bill Arthur. This is Simon Worrell.
You can see there's far more enthusiasm from the Leeds outfit now. They know that they've got Wigan on the rack, and again the defensive qualities. Remember, I mentioned first quarter, Wigan getting up out of their blocks. Now some are moving forward, others are hanging back, and you always are going to pay the price against a team like Leeds when you do that.
The Rhinos, Eddie, quite content to take that ball right up the middle channel. The 5 plays they had then before the kick went right up the middle part of the field. Rob Burrows positioned himself for the kick. They didn't push it, they didn't want to move it wide, they had no interest in doing so. They just want to get into the grind now, the big arm wrestle, take the juice out the Wigan forwards, and when they've gone, then you can open up.
Interesting that Coley and Palliasina return to the Wigan lineup here.
Well, they need him, don't they? They really do need someone to and he's done that so often, Palliasina especially. They've got to try to get that break, get them into the opposition half, which they're finding difficult.
There is a specificity about Palliasina's play, and it means that specificity. He is sent on the field to do a very small and direct, very, very specific job, Eddie, and that is to cart the ball forward. Now, when he does that, the Wigan side need to really maximise his time on the field. He played for, what, 17 minutes in the first half? They've got to get along, and they've got to score some points while he's out there.
Well, it was a great word, Phil, and I think a great tactic from Brian Noble, that they have to find a way to get from one end of the field to the other. They haven't achieved it with honest go forward so far. They took 1 or 2 gambles. I think the kicking game of Trent Barrett is the only thing that's got them from one end, or a possible interception. They need Palliasina to dig in deep in their own half and get them to the other end of the field.
Wonderful play from Senior. This is Jordan Tansey. What a pass! What a pass to Lauatiti! And it's over underneath the sticks is Ali Lauatiti. A breathtaking Leeds Rhinos pass that was. Wonderful play. Just when Wigan were thinking about staging a comeback, Big Ali stepped up, and the man that everybody at Headingley hoped would be refreshed and brought on even further by Brian McLennan, he's not disappointed anyone this year.
Beautiful offload by Keith Senior. And you've got to say that Leeds are just running rampant now. Quick, solid play on that blind side. There's quite a few of the Wigan players having a bit of a rest. The offload was superb. Lauatiti's having a wow of a game. But it just shows you the problems that they have. That looked all right.
Out to the back of the hand, Steve, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tansey did it exceptionally well. But full credit also to Rob Barrow, you know. Rob Barrow, dummy to go open side. He could see that Wigan had a couple of players having a little bit of a rest, and then they just took full advantage of it. Relative.
Homer is a Leeds fan.
He's got good eyes, you can see the tries at the other end of the field through that.
Well, he seems to be enjoying himself, doesn't he? Who does that remind you of, fellas?
Wait.
I think we might keep that quiet.
36-10.
Okay.
Leeds in control now with half an hour to go.
Well, in answer to that question, I would hazard a guess you were talking about Keith Senior.
Quiet. Go. Let's go, Andy. Andy.
Well, that's brave.
And that's something that Wigan have to be now. Exceptionally brave, because they are looking down the barrel of one heck of a spanking. Again, this man, perpetual motion.
Fantastic.
Look at that.
They will miss him next year, no matter who they bring in to replace.
World class.
He is. It's Burrow. And wide they go to Webb. And long pass wide to Tansey, who spins away from a couple. 4 tackles gone. Burrow will run it. Shows it one way, comes the other. Infield to Peacock. And Peacock, down he goes on the last.
Move. Quiet. Go.
Diskin comes the short side. Maguire stabs the ball towards the corner, and Mathers is the man who just has to put boot to the ball and shuffles it out. There's Brian McLennan.
He'll be happy as well, because Leeds are controlling this game. They know their defence is solid. They know that they've got Wigan on the rack. They continually just keep irritating them, putting the little dink kick into the corner there. The chase is good. And it left no option for this fella, Richie Mathers, to make sure that it was getting goal, and it'll be more pressure again.
Here come the Rhinos with Maguire. Maguire gives it to Senior. They're through again. Keith Senior. And remember, in this second half, it began with a scrum 10 metres out. Leeds scored directly from it, and the Wigan supporters got their arms folded. They're furious, because that's the second try that has come directly from the base of the scrum. And Keith Senior, who hasn't scored in 5 matches, has just rubbed further salt into the Wigan wounds. It's 40 points to 10, kick to come.
And there's more to come, I'm afraid. If you're a Wigan fan, you will not be liking this. And this has all been brought about by the fact that Leeds have just drained the strength out of the Wigan outfit. By sheer power in the forwards. And now it's time to let them off the leash, the 3 quarters. Keith Senior won't score an easier try than that for many a day. It has been a wonderful team performance.
The kick from Sinfield makes it 42 points to 10. It's now a record lead score at Wigan. They're not happy.
Glum faces, and every right to be, because the tactics from Brian McLennan have been quite superb. He knows he's got quality and skill out wide ball, but the ability, how he just slowed things down, open 10, 15 minutes, just assessed it. We saw some wonderful work from Ali Lauatiti early in the game, but soon as they started going down the middle, it was all over, wasn't it?
Well, the Rhinos have been resolute in working that game plan to the nth degree. You know, let's just watch. They'll probably stay in the middle channels unless they're getting extra confident now and start flicking the ball a little bit wider. They've been content all night to win this battle. The hard yakker right up the middle of the field, taking on the Wigan front row. You know, and Stuart Fielding put an awful lot of effort into his early stint. He's now off the field, and Wigan are winning Leeds are winning the collision. And when they do that, they get confidence to move the ball out wide.
Well, Leeds also have the meanest defence in Super League. 65 tries conceded before tonight. St Helens with 77 are the next best, and they've scored before this evening's match 139 tries. They're well over 140 now, and well, it's only the Saints who've got more, so the top two worthy of their places at the top of the Engage Super League.
Well, Wigan are really struggling, and you can see there that Leeds, they're coming in on the angle. It's virtually one out play now from the Cherry and Whites, and the energy levels, well, they're very, very low indeed.
Here's a man who might be able to pep them up, Palliasina. Plays the ball to Mickey Hyam. Trent Barrett, back on the inside it goes from Barrett, but Burrow stood his ground, made the tackle on halfway Wigan. This now is Paul Prescott.
Again, one out football, not much idea going on out there because they're being crunched every time. You know, Brian McLennan, the Leeds coach, he'll be very happy with the senior players, but you know, some of the youngsters, Simon Worrell out there, they're doing their job, Tansy, and it's just wonderful to see so many young kids enjoying playing rugby league at the top level, and they've put in some crunch tackles. He knows this could be a big turning point. They went through a little bit of a wobble a couple of weeks ago, and he said, we'll get back on the horse, don't worry about that. And this guy has really come back into the game. Matt Diskin has been outstanding.
Plays the ball here to Maguire. Maguire bumps off Mickey Hyam. He gets the pass in then to Peacock. Leeds still inside their own half, but this is the last tackle, and Webb with the kick. Again he finds the grass, but Calderwood's after this. Webb following up. Calderwood gets as far as Ablett and Ellis, and down he goes. It's a penalty. There's too much messing around as Calderwood tried to get to his feet.
Well, I thought Ellis was on the rodeo. Ride him, cowboy. Yeehaw!
Let's go, Jen. Go.
Clear penalty, and Wigan in possession on halfway on the first tackle. With Hyam at dummy half. Here's Palliasina. Good run from him. Scruton missed him, but the next two didn't. Peacock, always the man to lead from the front, and Sinfield. Tim Smith. Trent Barrett comes up the middle. Barrett.
Now can they get some second phase work in Wigan?
Andy Coley in the second row tonight. Andy Coley.
They've got to try to organise themselves with a bit of dummy runner and try to confuse this pretty strong Leeds defence.
Last time Andy Coley played second row, by the way, was in Cardiff in the Millennium weekend, the defeat against St Helens. Barrett with the kick, but straight into the arms of Lee Smith. Barrett, fortunately, was the man who delayed him. Quick play, then finished off by Hyam.
Quick play, the ball is needed now, and watch Leeds spin it out to the left-hand side as quickly as possible.
Ablett almost through one tackle. Good job that Carmont was there.
Rob Burrow streaming for the football. They want it quickly.
This is Webb. They come the other way. And Webb gives the ball to Ellis. Good tackle by Barrett. Webb and Peacock. That's 4 tackles gone. Leeds have the numbers down the left, and there they go with Burrow.
Beautiful little dummy there. Looked as though he was going to flick the inside pass.
Good tackle needed, and it was a good tackle, by the way, by Cameron Phelps, but forward pass is ruled again by Ashley Klein. And Danny Maguire doesn't agree.
Well, whatever happened to the momentum rule, eh? We haven't heard that for a while. You can see Maguire had gone right in front. I think that was okay. Relief for Wigan. Offload.
Good offload by Coley. Finds Palliasina. Taking on Sinfield, who stands his ground. That must be one of the most fearsome sights in the business. Palliasina running at you one-on-one. Carmont. Leeds hunting in threes there to bring George Carmont down. There he is, Palliasina, waiting for the next run. Might come in a moment. There it is. At Sinfield again. Dumps the ball into the arms of Hyam. Hyam then finds Mathers. Mathers is halted by Worrell.
That's another highlight that Brian McLennan, the Leeds coach, will be quite happy with. The fact is that Kevin Sinfield, he hasn't done a great deal in attack, but boy, he's got through some work in defence.
Good hands. This is Calderwood. Tackled by Diskin. Quick play the ball. It's Tim Smith. Trent Barrett. Barrett goes on the inside. Leeds stand firm against him once again. Sinfield and Peacock. Sinfield's got through a lot of work this set of 6. Hyam. Tim Smith dinks the ball up into the air, looking for Liam Colborn. It's flicked back. It's play on. There's a chance here. This is Harrison Hansen. Here's Palliasina. Picks up pace. Gets the ball away to Hyam. Wigan keeping the ball alive, drifted in behind them, and it could be a try here for Joel Tompkins. No, it isn't. It's offside. It's offside against Leeds over here on the right-hand side.
Well, it was lucky Keith Senior there. He went at a real lash at it. Neat little kick through.
Oh, it's not offside, it's interference.
Danny Maguire jumped in the air, made no attempt to catch the ball. I'm sure it's Maguire challenging the Wigan player. And it was the crossfield kick from Tim Smith into this corner where the offence took place, but the referee allowed play to go on to see if Wigan could score.
Now then, let's see where the feet are. None of both feet, any of those Leeds players, was behind the line, and Ashley Klein just completely ignored it.
Hyam at dummy half for Wigan. Great pressure from them here. Tim Smith. That's Barrett. A test now of the Leeds defence. Sini with a good tackle on Tompkins. Here is Tim Smith again. Back he comes then to Eamon O'Carroll.
Again, they're not utilising any dummy runner. It's easy to spot by this Leeds defence.
Hyam. Palliasina. Great ball out the back. Tim Smith. Tim Smith to Harrison Hansen. Good defence from Leeds. That's 4 gone. Can they withstand this? No, they can't. And it's a try for Eamon O'Carroll. Eamon O'Carroll underneath the sticks, and the pressure told in the end. On his way to the World Cup with Ireland, this young man. 6th in a row as a substitute. He is yet to start in Wigan's colours. And he has come on, and he has scored his 2nd try of 2008 to give Wigan a little bit of something to cheer.
Merely compensation. Yeah, you can see there that Maguire made no attempt to go for the football, took the man out. Well spotted by Ashley Klein. And O'Carroll. It was good play. The first time that the Leeds defence really have lacked cohesion. And on that occasion, both Matt Diskin and Jamie Peacock came out of the line like jackrabbits and left a huge hole for Mr. O'Carroll. He'll enjoy that. They've got something to cheer about because it's been glum over the last 25 minutes or so, where Leeds have just dictated this game. He'll have something to mull over with, Brian Noble. But I think he realises that he has been taught a lesson in tactics, sheer power, the way to just tire the opposition, and it's proved quite fruitful. But full credit to Wigan. Haven't thrown in the towel, they're coming back.
Cameron Phelps pops the ball over the top. 16-42 now to Leeds. Wigan lost here 34-4 back end of July to Huddersfield. They've been unbeaten since in the 3 games. But I think it's a bridge too far for them right now at 42-6 down.
I think the Wigan Warriors are going to be kicking themselves you know, post-game in the morning that they have lost the battle for field position. As proven, when they actually do get down there, they can operate with good shape, good width, and score some points. Unfortunately for Wigan, they just haven't had that field position all night. Leeds again have been resolute in their go forward, stayed in the middle, completed, kicked, and played the game in the Wigan quarter. Unfortunately for the Warriors, unfortunately, they just haven't done that often enough.
Some injury news for the Leeds Rhinos, though. Maybe it's not the greatest night for them, Bill.
Well, I don't think it's anything too dramatic, but Kylie Luluai, among the try scorers tonight, has had to come off. He seems to have a calf injury. He's just had a warm-up on the sidelines, returned to the bench, shaking his head, saying, no, it's pulling, and it looks like the right calf muscle that's the problem. Cousin Thomas, incidentally, on the sidelines for Wigan at the moment. He's been taken off, no injury there. Obviously, Brian Noble probably just looking for a bit of a change in fortunes. They need that.
Yes, they do. The dink over the top from Barrett almost came up for them, but it was well watched in the end by Matt Diskin, who came to the rescue of the Leeds defence. Well, Hull Kingston Rovers, in the last 10 minutes last weekend against Warrington, they scored 3 quick tries. If you get on a roll, anything is possible. And at Wigan, well, they've got 16 minutes remaining. They haven't given it up yet, but it looks as though it's beyond them. But you never say never in this game, do you?
Yeah, that is for true, Eddie. But I must... I mean, with the quality of Brian McLennan, which we've seen with his tactics, I know he'll send it out and send the message and say, OK, 42-16, we'll continue doing what we've done throughout this game, and that's just keep turning Wigan around.
Well, to score, you're going to need the ball, and Leeds look like they're not going to give it away easily. They're just completing. That's a great kick, right into that channel that they want, right in the pocket, and they'll muscle up now for the first 2 or 3 shots.
Well, Lee Smith gives away a silly penalty, really. He had another pull at Richie Mathers.
That's the one thing that Brian McLennan will be desperate to try to eliminate. Very difficult, of course, when you keep looking up at the scoreboard, 42-16. As you say, anything can happen, but the way that this Leeds defence has been solid throughout, it's going to take something really desperate to get past them.
Liam Colbon gets to his feet, will play it to Carmont. Carmont then to Harrison Hansen. Here's Paliacina again.
Trent Barrett's had the right idea, but the way that Leeds defence is coming up quickly, the only way you're going to beat them is just to chip over the top. As you mentioned, it was Matt Diskin that diffused that attack.
This is Barrett, he plays it back to Mathers. Mathers will go wide and takes the return as well. Senior is there to bring him down with help from Rob Burrow. Cameron Phelps, a dummy half, finds Barrett. Barrett showed it to Coley, gave it to Tim Smith. Over the top to Carmont. Callum Watkins got a little ankle tap on Carmont. That was important enough. Here's Colbon. Now Tim Smith. Flicks it up to Paliacina. Paliacina stands in the tackle, gets it away to Hyam. Hyam then to Tim Smith. Tim Smith rolls it wide, and it finds Mark
Got away with it.
They did get away with it. That's the last tackle coming up. Quick play the ball. Tim Smith, they go wide, dab down the line, chances here. And now then, they're asking for a goal line dropout, Wigan, but Ashley Klein says no, the ball played the man, not the other way round. It's a 20-metre restart.
Cameron Phillips did all he could to try to get this ball back inside. Maybe he should have been play on.
So Lee Smith, tackled by Andy Coley, and unfairly, and that's a sin.
Sheer frustration. What a game this guy's had. Gareth Ellis has been outstanding both in attack and defence. As I say, sheer frustration, interference there. He's played his part. You keep mentioning it, Eddie, but a world-class player. Gareth Ellis, we certainly will miss him in Super League.
He's really put his shoulder to the wheel for Leeds tonight, and in fact I think that's probably one of the reasons he's come off, because he's put his shoulder into a tackle recently, and he did come out of it just looking a little bit pained. I don't think it's anything long-term. He doesn't seem to have treatment, but it's probably a good time for Brian McLennan to take him off.
This is Lee Smith, and Lee Smith will go all the way and score for the Rhinos. Second try for Lee Smith. He had options left and right, Lee Smith. Backed himself and came up with the goods. He's happy again, although you wouldn't believe it looking at the face on him. Homer Simpson, the new Leeds Rhino supporter, and he's cheering the second try from Lee Smith tonight.
Well, the Wigan defence wasn't all that effective on that occasion. Take nothing away with the fend from the winger Smith. It was pretty solid. You talk about Homer Simpson. Brian Noble will be saying no because it wasn't the best defensive effort. Get out of the way, Mr. Carmon. That's a good finish. That is a tremendous winger's effort. If you go high, you run the risk of doing this. Bang. Fend off. That's a great try.
He's showing his versatility, isn't he? I think he's actually now playing or interchanging with Watkins and playing right centre. Watkins seemed to be on the right wing at that point in time. And I guess there's a lot of competition now amongst this Leeds squad. They're going to get 2 weeks rest within the next month. They don't appear in the cup final. They'll get a rest and reward for finishing the top two. And the strength of the squad means that 1 or 2 players out there now are competing for a spot possibly in the grand final 17. They're aware of it. Lee Smith's just one of those.
Well, the grand final bid 17. They've got to maybe either entertain or go to St Helens at the end of the season in the playoffs. And talking of the grand final, there is the information line. There's the website for the Rugby Football League. We can tell you it's on October the 4th, the grand final. The place is Old Trafford. Any other information you want, there are your numbers: 08444 777 113 and the rfl.co.uk. And you can also use those numbers, by the way, for the Cooperative National League Grand Final Day, which is coming up on September the 28th at Warrington.
We talk about the grand final and perhaps whether the Rhinos can get there and defend their title. A few weeks ago, perhaps you would have been in a bit of a quandary. But tonight, they have shown real championship rugby league football. Quality throughout. Good combination of solid defence, hard work. And they've shared the workload, which has been very effective.
You're right, Mike. It's been a selfless performance, I think, from the Leeds Rhinos. They haven't pushed the ball wide. They haven't pulled their own personal best play out to put it on show tonight. They've stuck to the game plan methodically. And there's a great example of it. Diskin just jumping upstream and running at tied defenders.
That was inventive from Rob Burrow. It's still on the last this. And they go wide on another forward pass called by Ashley Klein.
You can take the risk at 46-16, and again, we seem to have forgotten my old momentum rule, don't we? Either way, for the quality of this fella.
He knew they were there in support, didn't he? It's almost telepathic. Harrison Hansen escapes one clutch, keeps going. Hansen, down he goes. Wigan looking to avoid conceding 50 points in a home match in the Super League weekly rounds for the very first time. And here they come again now with Tompkins. Tried to ride the tackle over on that far side. The referee said play on. It's going to be a penalty this to Leeds because he played the ball with the referee shouting play on, play on. Joel Tompkins thought he was tackled. It wasn't.
I'm not so sure, you know. I think Burrow may have touched his head.
If he does, it's a tackle.
Yeah, momentum. He touches him. That's tackled. The officials got it wrong. Watch. As soon as he touches him and the momentum is stopped, then that tackle is absolutely finished. And Mr. Klein has got that wrong.
That was high. He hasn't got that one wrong. Lee Mossop was very high on Luke Burgess.
Well, it was only a tap from Rob Burrow, wasn't it? But that was a little harder, perhaps. Boom.
Come on, guys, let's just keep
You get the impression now that Leeds will be going through their set patterns. And we might see Mr. Webb coming to action again. When will he inject himself into the three-quarter line? He'll probably come second phase.
2 of them are on hat-tricks. Here is Sinfield. This is Ablett. Changes the direction, looks to offload. Takes the tackle in the end from Mickey Hyam.
I'd pick Webb out now, wouldn't you?
Burgess trying to get his way to the line, but forced back. The ball comes back. It's Webb. That's 3 gone. He played here to Diskin, which he does. Diskin went for it himself. He wants to get on the score sheet too. There's Webb, dummy half. Here is Sinfield. This Burrow. Cameron Phelps all over the back of the Leeds player. Burrow slides the kick in behind the defence. Calderwood to the rescue, just pats it dead. Goal line dropout though. Second set of 6 coming up for Leeds.
Nice option. He's always thinking, Rob Burrow. In the first half, a couple of occasions, you could see that Wigan, pretty slow, having a bit of a rest on the blind side. Tried it there, but Calderwood was alert. Phelan comes back for the final minutes.
Let's go down to Bill.
Eddie, the Leeds fans to one end of the ground are probably a bit worried to see Ali Lauatiti limping off the field, but it looks as though it's just a touch of cramp for the big man, and that's all it is. More worrying for the Wigan Warriors point of view is George Carmont has limped off. Thomas Luluai coming on in his place, and Carmont was in a lot of pain, and that will be a worry for them because he has been one of their standout performers this season.
The pass was simply too hard from Rob Burrow. Mathers collects it gratefully, gets over the advantage line. That will be play on. Here is Luluai. Worrell, who dropped the ball, is after him. Number 28, there he is. Got the tackle in on Mossop. Calderwood, play on, says the referee. So he does, and Diskin sees to him.
Interesting, the guy at the dummy half there, Mickey Hyam. Would you believe that there was a certain section of fans before the game was asking for signatures in a plea to the club to keep Mickey Hyam at the JJB Stadium? I don't think I've ever seen that done before.
Well, there was a couple of emails on Boots and All on Wednesday about that as well. There he is again, Mickey Hyam. He's a wholehearted player, there is no doubt about that. And this is, as I said earlier, is his 93rd consecutive appearance. He was man of the match against Wakefield here last week. Not the best kick, although it did find the right side of the whitewash.
It's very rare though, Eddie, that you'll find the home fans getting up a petition to keep a player. He has played well.
He presumably is on his way, is he, Mickey Hyam?
You could make it like one of those talent competitions, couldn't you, where the supporters vote in on who they want in the squad for next year.
Come on, Tim. You're coming back. They keep calling you,
Can he sing?
A lot of talent.
Two contrasting styles with how both clubs employ their hookers. You know, Matt Diskin has done the full 75. I'm sure he'll do the full 80. Mickey Hyam had his spell where they then switched Tim Smith to half-back and Thomas Luluai into that hooking position. Now almost an embarrassment of riches from the Wigan department with half-backs and scrum halves, etc. And you know, the Leeds Rhinos, I think they've only got that one key hooker. They're going to play it, and Matt Diskin is going to do the full course unless he gets injured. He'll have to make the most of it, because I think, you know, Mr. Danny Baderas is going to be there next year, so Matt, I presume, won't be doing the full 80.
Yes, Danny Baderas, the New South Wales captain, Australian international, due at Headingley next year. That's a quality signing they've made.
Certainly is, but I've been impressed with Matt Diskin tonight. He's done his job very well indeed.
This is Maguire, and he hacks the ball towards Callum Watkins, who hacks it on again. Watkins! Oh, I don't think he got it, did he, or did he? They're celebrating as though Callum Watkins has scored the 50th point.
Quality try there.
Callum Watkins, the last time we saw him on Sky Sports, I think if memory serves, it was at Cardiff, and he was sensational then. Has he got a try here? He has.
He certainly has, and he knew it. He was confident. But what about the break from Danny Maguire and then the kick? Slow motion will prove it. This is TRY time. And Callum Watkins will celebrate. Smile on his face, and there is the confirmation.
Callum Watkins only just back from Australia with the England Academy squad that faced the Aussies in a couple of tests. They were flogged in the first, and they got a lot of credit back in the bank in the second. But he's only just back from that tour, and here he is in Super League. And this young man, at 17 years of age, very much one for the future.
Great play by Maguire. Shimmy, step, knew that there was nowhere to go. He could see there that Mathers had him lined up, so he kicks through. Good work from Watkins, taps it over. It's all about being aware in any sport, but especially in rugby league. And both this man, the youngster Watkins, and Danny Maguire showing their quality. And he's had a big influence as well as this fella. Forget about the goal-kicking responsibilities, but his defence tonight has been outstanding.
And Sinfield will add the extras. 52 points to 16. We are watching Wigan's record home Super League defeat. They did lose 54-16 to the Saints in a playoff in September 2000, but in the weekly rounds, Callum Watkins' tries just nudged Leeds over the 50-point mark, and Sinfield's kick. And it's a record home Super League defeat for Wigan in their last appearance here at the JJB Stadium of 2008. It's not the best way to bow out.
Well, against the champions, Eddie, they have been taught a bitter lesson. They've been hammered in the forwards. And
Leeds aren't done yet.
And the combination that they're showing, look at that. Come up with the error.
Jordan Tansey just couldn't take the pass in.
And that's why, Mike, the Leeds Rhinos weren't playing wide on the early tackles in the money part of this game. Early on, when they had to graft away, get up the field and throw some fatigue into the Wigan ranks. If they had been as casual with the ball as they was on that play early on, then I'm sure the scoreline would have been the other way around.
Oh, I agree with you there, Paul. And also the fact that there were two men, as far as I'm concerned, in the first 30 minutes that was outstanding. I thought that Ali Lau-Titi and Gareth Ellis, they just had so much big impact, and it's been a wonderful effort from them.
Prepared to just hard yakka right up the middle of the field, and I honestly think Matt Diskin has been absolutely outstanding tonight. He's been a part of every single play, every single phase of football that we've seen from the Leeds Rhinos.
Will the Wigan Warriors, though, have the last try in the last 25 seconds of their home season of 2008? This is Luluai, and this is Tim Smith, and now it's with Richie Mathers. Mathers then to Barrett. Barrett looking to sign off on a positive note. 10 seconds remaining, 2 tackles in the bank. This is possibly the last play of the match. Tim Smith drifts the kick over the top, and Jordan Tansey collects it, and that's the game. That's the match. Well, Wigan leave the JJB Stadium with 1 or 2 boos ringing in their ears, but overall it's been a productive season for them. But it's Leeds who have taken the points in record-breaking fashion here tonight. They were 6-0 down to Mark Calderwood's early try, but then they really put their foot down. Webb, Burgess, Smith, Luluai, Webb again, Lau-Titi, Senior, Smith again, and in the end, Callum Watkins. Sinfield converted all but one, 52 points to 16. And well, the Leeds Rhinos have done their points for and against the power of good here tonight as well. They have played Wigan off the park. Phelps got a try on the half hour to add to Calderwood's effort in the first half, and O'Carroll briefly threatened a Wigan revival of sorts after 63 minutes. But it's Leeds Rhinos' day. 52 points to 16, big win. And Bill Arthur is with one of the stars, and he is a star at the moment, Gareth Ellis.
He's Steve-O's man of the match as well. Congratulations on that, Gareth. And Wigan have been a thorn in your side this season, so to do that to them must be very satisfying.
Yeah, it was. We've been on the wrong end of a few results against Wigan of late, apart from probably when it matters, and we really sort of pinpointed this game as one that does matter to us, going to the playoffs soon, and yeah, we're good to get a good performance in tonight.
Well, it's back-to-back big performances, isn't it? Against Castleford and then here tonight. So do you think you're over your blip?
Well, let's hope so. A lot of hard work's gone in over the time. We haven't been playing well. Now, hopefully, the good things will come from that. Great performance tonight, but we can't rest on that. Obviously, we've got a week off from playing, that is, and a lot of hard work will go in now for obviously for Wakefield.
And the key tonight seemed to be that the start of the second half, obviously that kick that found touch, and then you just had a roll on, didn't you? And that you blew them away.
Yeah, well, Kev seems to come with the big plays at the right times, and and that's great for us. And yeah, I suppose that really, you know, sunk them a little bit and lifted us, and we kicked on from there.
From a personal point of view, obviously, you know, you're probably counting the weeks now until your Leeds career ends. Is it getting a very special time for you?
Yeah, it is. You know, obviously, it's crept up on me a little bit. You know, when I made the decision a while ago, you know, it seemed a distance away, and yeah, now it's nearly here, and I've got to try and make everything count. I know the lads here are in with that, and you know, we're all looking forward to obviously a successful playoff series. Well done on your Man of the Match award. You also get £100 courtesy of Engage to give to a charity of your choice. Where's it going to go? Yeah, I'd just like to donate to the Brennan Rooney Fund, please. Well done tonight, Gareth. Thank you, thanks a lot. And I think you must have been run very close for Man of the Match by Matt Diskin. And that was a full 80. How are you feeling?
It weren't a full 80 actually, I came off for a little bit of a rest, but yeah, it was a tough game. Interesting.
And from your point of view, do you feel your form is probably getting back to something near your best?
I think it is. I think it's coinciding with the team in the last few weeks. The forwards have been outstanding. They're setting a real platform, and when a forwards are setting a platform, it makes a nooker's job a lot easier.
Phil Clark mentioned it in commentary to Paul Cullen. It was, I think, Danny Badira's coming next season. Are you sort of conscious of that? Somebody breathing down your neck?
It's not an issue for me at the moment. I'm just enjoying this year, and we'll see what happens next.
Well, as far as enjoying this year goes, all set fair now, and you could still, if Huddersfield do you a favour, still get that top spot.
Yeah, we can't worry about saying slipping. We're just going to concentrate on ourselves. We're just conscious of coming into the playoffs with some form, and we're doing that at the moment.
You are as well. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, they're playing really well, and Gareth Ellis, Man of the Match. He must have been run closely by Matt Diskin. There's the story of the game. 52 points to 16. Wigan's record home defeat in the Super League weekly rounds. And don't forget also that Hull have beaten the Harlequins tonight by 26 points to 6. So right now this is what the Engage Super League table looks like. Hull will not take the wooden spoon, you would think. The points for and against difference for Castleford is just too much for them. Cass have got Warrington on Sunday night live on Sky Sports. At the top of the table, the points for and against for Leeds over St Helens is closed momentarily, but of course it all depends on what St Helens do against Huddersfield on Sunday. Good race though, isn't it? And Bradford Hull KR for the other spec in the playoffs. But Leeds tonight, Phil Clark, well, they were magnificent, and straight from the kick-off this happens.
Yeah, I think they continued what they did last week. They were very impressive against Castleford. They scored some good tries and looked back to the best, and I love to see tries scored from scrums. Sides with the imagination and the initiative to take on their opponents in what is a great opportunity, and Leeds were rewarded on a couple of occasions with that tonight. One there from Webb. This one has some fantastic skill in it, isn't it? The ball at the back there from Tanzi to Lower Titi, and I think you could see the confidence returning to the Leeds side at this point in the match. The weight of possession that they had is one thing in rugby league, but converting that into points is probably what separates the top from the bottom really in this competition, and Leeds did that, didn't they, with clinical and ruthless efficiency. A little bit of a comeback, and nice to see Eamon O'Carroll, who's had a relatively good season for Wigan, get over the line for a try, but it was only really a momentary halt in what was a procession really of Leeds tries, and one that left the home support here very depressed. I thought Lee Smith had a good game, and it's a great finish that, isn't it, out wide on the right hand side, before again a second try down that right flank for Leeds. There's some wonderful play in here. This is when you know that Leeds are back to their best, because it's instinctive and it's responsive play. The kick through those first. What about this for the first touch? A Wigan Athletic wingman will be happy with that at the weekend against Chelsea. And Watkins goes over to score, and Wigan's year, I suppose, they've had some pretty good wins, but they've had some terrible defeats, and it's probably a sad end really for Trent Barrett, who's given them good value for the majority of time that he's played here, and they will significantly miss him. You see him on the pitch here with his young children.
Yes, magnificent 2007, no question. Wigan's Player of the Year, arguably the best player in the Super League last year, though he didn't get the Man of Steel, he got the Super League Players Player of the Year and the Rugby League Writers Association Player of the Year, but he has left an indelible mark on the club. And well, there's the indication. I mean, Steve was talking about a petition going around the ground tonight to keep Mickey Hyam at Wigan, but all the signs are that he won't be here either next year, and he will be a loss as well.
Do you know, I think recruiting and releasing players is probably almost more important than coaching the squad you've got, because you've got to assemble under a salary cap what you think is the best 25 players for your side for the next year, and it is a difficult decision. Whoever does that for Wigan here now has a tough job on their hands, because you could say Wigan have finished the season higher up the league table, but are they a better squad than they were 12 months ago?
Well, that's only for the bosses here and for Brian Noble, the coach, to answer. But this is a dent to their confidence tonight.
Massive.
There's no question of that. And they enter the playoffs. Now, they might enter it 5th. Depends what Warrington do. And we know what a Jekyll and Hyde club they are. I mean, anything could happen for Warrington in the last 2. But if they go to Warrington in the first round of the playoffs, that'll be tasty.
It will, but if you're conceding more than 20 points in a game at this time in the season, I don't think realistically you have a chance of winning the grand final, because grand finals tend to be closer, and playoff games closer, more low scoring than a typical Super League game.
Not last year when Leeds beat Saints.
No, but if you looked at the playoff games to get to the grand final, you need to be able to defend your line with some confidence at times. If your opponents come down to this end of the field, you've got to know that you can hold them out for 6 plays and send them back without scoring, and Wigan just couldn't do that enough tonight. Some of the tries that Leeds scored looked too easy, didn't they, at this level?
Yes, they did. They look in great form. Here's what's to come over this week.